So much for that fun day at the beach. You parked your car on the sand just a few hours ago. And now the tide's coming in. It's a tricky situation. And it happens more often than you think. Extricating 2 tons of metal out of soft, wet sand is no easy task. So if it happened to you, what would you do to get your car free before the tide claims its prize? Should you A. Gun the engine while turning your wheels to the left and right? B. Place your floor mats under the tires to provide traction? Or C. Deflate your tires so that your car can ride higher atop the sand? One thing's for sure, the beach at high tide is no friend to your car.
Tide is just the rise and fall of the sea due to the gravitational pull of the sun and the moon. The low tide is simply when the tide is out, when the tide is at its lowest. High tide is when the tide is in and it's at its peak for the day.
If you've driven out on the beach and you find yourself in a situation where you've gotten stuck in the sand and the tide's coming in, you don't have many options.
As that tide comes in a car that's stuck on the beach, some with big waves can start to be taken a little bit further offshore, but invariably the sand around it is going to be excavated and the car will get deeper and deeper within that beach.
You want to drive on sand that is more compact, and that sand typically is wet, and that's why we typically find people driving down at the edge of the beach close to the water. The typical way that we see a driver get stuck in the sand is by getting into loose sand, and then the tires begin to sink into the sand. They push the sand up in front of them, which becomes a block, and you become stuck. And your drive tires will begin to spin and dig down into the sand.
Okay, now go forward, back.
As the tide rises, you may have the opportunity, as the sand starts to firm up, to get yourself back out. But if you've dug down into the sand, it's time for more extreme measures. Call for a tow truck.
But with the tide coming in fast, there's no time. You've got to move your vehicle now. So what would you do to get out of this mess? You stand a good chance if you go with B and use your floor mats to create a solid path to drive on.
So you've gotten yourself stuck in the sand. You can see your tracks that lead you in. You want to get back out by following those tracks back out of the sand, but you can't get started. Take the floor mats out of your vehicle, stick them behind the drive tires, whether it's the front or the rear tires, and use those floor mats to give you that extra traction and larger area to float up on top of the sand and get you started out of the hole. Then use a very gentle, easy throttle, and with the help of someone guiding you, stay in the tracks that you went into the sand in, and that'll get you back out.
What if you try hitting the gas while turning the wheels left and right?
If you find yourself stuck in the sand, one of the important things to do is not dig yourself deeper. Don't accelerate hard. Don't try to spin your drive wheels. They'll dig down. Don't turn the steering wheel back and forth because, again, you will just dig down further into the sand.
As for deflating your tires,
people that go off-roading with large SUVs a lot of times will reduce their air pressure to allow them to float over the sand. The only tires truly made to drive on the sand are those that are made for light trucks, SUVs, that are really an extreme sand-type tire.
If you do deflate your tires, don't forget to put air back in once you're off the beach.
If you don't put that air pressure back into the tire, you'll do more damage to the tire than you did to the vehicle getting stuck in the sand.
If your car ends up floundering in sand, remember, place your floor mats against the wheels to provide traction, and accelerate slowly. Go too fast and you could dig in deeper. Also, deflating your tires won't work for most vehicles.
You want to look for the path out of the situation that you've gotten yourself into, which will be the way you came in. Try to back out.
With a little luck, the only time your vehicle will get wet is at the car wash.